The English Wizard's Apprentice. The English Wizard's Apprentice, Part 1. A spellbinding language barrier. The air crackled with arcane energy within the ancient stone tower of Master Eldrick, a wizard renowned throughout the realm for his mastery of the mystical arts. Amidst bubbling potions, shelves overflowing with ancient grimoires, and the faint scent of brimstone, a young apprentice named Elara struggled with a simple levitation spell. Elara, a bright and eager learner, possessed a natural affinity for magic, her fingers tingling with latent power. But a frustrating obstacle stood between her and the mastery she craved. The language of spells. English was a foreign tongue she couldn't decipher. Master Eldrick, a stern but wise wizard with a long white beard that seemed to hold centuries of knowledge, insisted on the use of English for all spellcasting. "English, my dear Elara," he would often say, his voice a deep rumble, "is a language of precision, of nuance, of a unique power that resonates with the very fabric of magic." Elara, however, found herself lost in a sea of unfamiliar words and baffling grammatical structures. "Conjure luminous orb," she muttered, mispronouncing the words and jumbling the sentence structure. Instead of a glowing sphere of light, a miniature black hole materialized, sucking up scrolls and potion bottles before vanishing with a disconcerting pop. "Blast it!" Elara exclaimed, her cheeks flushed with frustration. "Why can't spells be written in our language?" Master Eldrick, observing her struggles with a patient but firm gaze, shook his head. The ancient pact forged between the realms of magic and language dictates that English be the key to unlocking true magical potential. You must master this language, Elara, if you wish to become a true wielder of magic. Elara, though disheartened, was not one to give up easily. She possessed a burning desire to prove herself, to master the mystical arts and earn her place amongst the esteemed wizards of the realm. She resolved to conquer this linguistic obstacle, to unravel the secrets of English and unleash the full potential of her magical abilities. Master Eldrick, recognizing her determination, presented her with a simple, leather-bound book titled Basic English for Aspiring Wizards. The book was filled with rudimentary grammar rules, basic vocabulary, and a series of simple spells written in clear, concise English. Elara, her brow furrowed in concentration, began her linguistic journey. She started with the alphabet, struggling to pronounce the unfamiliar sounds, her tongue tripping over the difference between V and W. She grappled with the concept of nouns and verbs, her initial attempts at sentence construction resulting in magical mishaps that turned her hair green and caused the tower's gargoyles to sing off-key opera. Master Eldrick, observing her struggles with a mixture of amusement and encouragement, guided her patiently. He corrected her pronunciation, explained the importance of word order, and emphasized the power of each carefully chosen word in a spell. "Remember, Elara," he said, "every word, Every syllable, every punctuation mark in a spell carries weight. A misplaced comma can turn a levitation spell into a combustion curse, and a mispronounced vowel can transform a healing potion into a sleeping draught. Elara, her initial frustration gradually replaced by a sense of curiosity and a growing appreciation for the intricacies of the English language, pressed on. She practiced her pronunciation, drilled vocabulary lists, and meticulously copied spell after spell, her fingers tingling with anticipation as she began to grasp the connection between words and magic. Her journey had just begun, a path fraught with linguistic challenges and potential magical mayhem. But Elara, armed with her determination and the guidance of Master Eldrick, was ready to face the challenge, to unlock the secrets of the English language, and to become a true wielder of magic. The English Wizard's Apprentice. Part 2. Grammatical Mishaps and Magical Mayhem. Elara's days in Master Eldrick's tower became a whirlwind of linguistic lessons and magical misadventures. Her Basic English for Aspiring Wizards book became her constant companion, its pages dog-eared, its margins filled with scribbled notes and frustrated doodles. The grammarian, a stern taskmaster, drilled her relentlessly on the fundamentals of English grammar. Subject-verb agreement, the bane of many a non-native speaker, became Elara's nemesis. A misplaced adjective could turn a simple light spell into a heavy light spell, causing the chandelier in the tower's library to crash to the floor with deafening boom. The subject must agree with the verb Elara, Master Eldrick would bellow, his voice echoing through the tower as he surveyed the wreckage. Remember, precision is paramount in magic. A single grammatical error can unleash unpredictable consequences. One sunny afternoon, while practicing the simple spell Open Door, Elara mistakenly added an extra S to the verb, chanting opens door instead. The result was not a politely swinging door, but a portal to a chaotic dimension filled with gibbering creatures and a disconcerting lack of gravity. Master Eldrick, with a sigh and a muttered incantation, quickly closed the portal, sending the gibbering creatures tumbling back into their own dimension. Plural verbs, Elara, he reminded her, his tone a weary blend of exasperation and amusement. They are not to be used lightly, especially when dealing with interdimensional portals. Elara, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment, diligently corrected her mistake, adding another tally mark to a growing list of grammatical mishaps that almost destroyed the tower. But amidst the chaos and corrections, Elara was making progress. She began to grasp the nuances of English sentence structure, the importance of word order, and the power of punctuation. Her pronunciation improved, her vocabulary expanded, and her spells became increasingly accurate. One evening, while practicing a spell to conjure a bouquet of flowers, Elara accidentally switched the order of the adjectives, chanting red beautiful roses instead of beautiful red roses. The result was a bouquet of monstrous, thorny roses, their crimson petals dripping with a strange, luminescent goo. Master Eldrick, after quickly neutralizing the goo with a counterspell, raised an eyebrow. Remember, Alara, adjective order matters. A beautiful red rose is quite different from a red beautiful rose, especially in the realm of magical botany. Alara, though initially disheartened by her mistakes, learned to embrace them as valuable lessons. She realized that even the smallest grammatical error could have significant magical consequences, but conversely, a perfectly constructed sentence could unlock incredible power. She began to see the beauty and logic within the English language, its structure mirroring the intricate workings of magic itself. Each word was a key, each sentence a spell, and each grammatical rule a pathway to unlocking the full potential of her magical abilities. As she progressed through her lessons, Alara's confidence grew, and her spells became increasingly impressive. She could now conjure shimmering butterflies with a flick of her wrist, summon a gentle breeze with a whispered phrase, and even create illusions so convincing they could fool even the most discerning eye. But Master Eldrick knew that Alara's true test lay not in memorizing spells, but in understanding the language behind them, in wielding English with fluency and precision, and thinking on her feet and adapting her magical skills to unexpected situations. For in the world of magic, as in life, the ability to communicate effectively was the key to unlocking true power. The English Wizard's Apprentice, Part 3. Idioms, incantations, and a touch of slang. Having mastered the basics of English grammar, Alara was ready for the next level of her linguistic and magical training. Master Eldrick, recognizing her progress, introduced her to the more nuanced and challenging aspects of the language: idioms, phrasal verbs, and even a touch of slang. English, my dear Alara, he explained, is a language rich in metaphors, expressions that defy literal interpretation but hold a unique power in the realm of magic. To truly master spellcasting, you must understand not just the words themselves, but the deeper meanings they convey. Alara's initial encounter with idioms was a bewildering experience. Raining cats and dogs conjured images of furry felines and canines plummeting from the sky instead of the intended downpour. Piece of cake resulted in a literal slice of cake materializing in her hand instead of signifying a task easily accomplished. Idioms, Alara, Master Eldrick explained patiently, are like magical shortcuts, compact phrases that hold a wealth of meaning. They add a layer of complexity and nuance to spellcasting, allowing for greater precision and control over magical energies. He presented her with a thick volume titled The Wizard's Guide to English Idioms, a daunting collection of expressions that seemed more like riddles than linguistic tools. Alara, however, was determined to master them. She spent hours memorizing idioms, practicing their usage in sentences, and experimenting with their effects on her spellcasting. "Let's spill the beans about this break-a-leg business," she muttered, attempting to incorporate the idiom into a spell designed to reveal hidden objects. Instead of illuminating hidden treasures, the spell caused a nearby bookcase to literally spill its contents, sending a cascade of ancient tomes crashing to the floor. Master Eldrick, with a sigh and a practiced flick of his wrist, levitated the books back onto their shelves. "Remember, Elara, context is key when using idioms. Break a leg is a theatrical expression of good luck, not a literal instruction to cause bodily harm, especially not to innocent furniture." Phrasal verbs, those seemingly illogical combinations of verbs and prepositions, proved to be another linguistic hurdle. Elara struggled to differentiate between look up, to search for information, and look up to admire someone. Her attempts to look down on her fears, resulting in a disconcerting sensation of vertigo. Master Eldrick, ever the patient mentor, guided her through the intricacies of phrasal verbs, explaining their subtle nuances and their importance in fine-tuning magical effects. He encouraged her to practice speaking English fluently, engaging in conversations with the enchanted portraits that lined the tower walls, and even attempting to decipher the cryptic pronouncements of the talking gargoyles perched atop the tower. Elara, her linguistic skills and magical abilities developing in tandem, began to see the interconnectedness of language and magic. She realized that fluency in English was not just about grammar and vocabulary. It was about understanding the culture, the humor, the very essence of a language that held a unique power within the realm of magic. As she practiced her pronunciation, experimented with slang, and incorporated idioms and phrasal verbs into her spellcasting, Elara felt a growing sense of mastery. She was no longer just an apprentice struggling to pronounce basic spells. She was an aspiring wizard, wielding the English language with increasing confidence and precision, her voice becoming an instrument of magical power. But her true test was yet to come. A magical duel with a rival apprentice loomed on the horizon, a challenge that would demand not only her knowledge of spells, but also her ability to think on her feet, to adapt her linguistic skills to unexpected situations, and to wield the power of English with fluency and finesse. The English Wizard's Apprentice, Part 4. Duel of Wands and Words. The grand hall of the Mages Guild buzzed with anticipation. Young apprentices, clad in their respective academy robes, whispered amongst themselves, their eyes glued to the dueling platform where Elara stood facing her opponent. A smug, sneering apprentice named Lucius, known for his impeccable English and his even more impeccable magical skills. The annual apprentice duel, a test of both magical prowess and linguistic fluency, was a highly anticipated event, a spectacle of dazzling spells and verbal dexterity. Elara, her heart pounding with a mixture of nerves and excitement, adjusted her grip on her wand, its oak wood warm beneath her fingers. Master Eldrick, standing amongst the esteemed wizards observing the duel, offered Elara a reassuring nod. "Remember your training, Elara," he whispered. "Trust your instincts, wield your English with precision, and let the magic flow." Lucius, with a theatrical flourish, initiated the duel, his voice ringing with haughty confidence. "Prepare yourself, Elara," he declared, his wand tip crackling with energy. "Let us see if your rudimentary grasp of English can match my mastery of the magical arts." He launched a series of rapid-fire spells, each incantation delivered with impeccable pronunciation and flawless grammar. "Conjure fiery serpents," he commanded, and a trio of serpentine flames snaked towards Elara, their fiery tongues hissing with the threat of incineration. Elara, thinking quickly, countered with a spell of her own. "Summon watery shields," she cried, her voice ringing with newfound confidence. Translucent, shimmering shields materialized before her, deflecting the fiery serpents with a hiss of steam. The duel escalated, a dazzling display of light, sound, and verbal dexterity. Lucius, his arrogance growing with each successful spell, taunted Elara, his incantations laced with sarcasm and veiled insults. "Perhaps," he sneered, "you should have spent more time conjugating verbs and less time fumbling with phrasal verbs, little apprentice." Elara, refusing to be intimidated, responded with a barrage of spells, her pronunciation precise, her grammar impeccable. "Unleash a tempestuous gale," she commanded, and a swirling wind whipped through the hall, disrupting Lucius's concentration and extinguishing his fiery serpents. Lucius, his smugness fading, resorted to more complex spells, his incantations laced with idiomatic expressions and obscure vocabulary, hoping to catch Elara off guard. "Let's see if you can weather the storm in a teacup, Elara," he declared, casting a spell that conjured a miniature but potent whirlwind aimed directly at her. Elara, recognizing the idiom, countered with a witty incantation of her own. "I'm not one to cry over spilt milk, Lucius," she retorted, summoning a magical sponge that absorbed the whirlwind with a satisfying squelch. The duel reached its climax when Lucius, frustrated by Elara's resilience and linguistic agility, attempted his most powerful spell, Obliterate with incandescent fury. A blinding bolt of energy surged towards Elara, threatening to engulf her in a searing inferno. Elara, her mind racing, knew she couldn't counter the spell directly. She had to think outside the box, to use her knowledge of English in an unconventional way. In a flash of inspiration, she remembered a slang phrase she had overheard from a group of young wizards. "Chill out." With a confident shout, she cast her spell. "Chill out, Lucius." A wave of icy energy surged from her wand, transforming the incandescent fury into a harmless shower of shimmering snowflakes. Lucius, caught off guard by the unexpected counterspell and the unexpected slang, stumbled backward, his wand clattering to the floor. The duel was over. Elara had won. The hall erupted in cheers, the apprentices and wizards alike marveling at Elara's linguistic agility and her unconventional use of English to outwit her opponent. Master Eldrick, beaming with pride, approached Elara, his eyes twinkling with admiration. "Well done, Elara," he said, his voice a warm rumble. "You have proven yourself a true master of both magic and language. Your journey has just begun, but I have no doubt that you will achieve great things." The English Wizard's Apprentice, Part 5. The Legacy of Words. The victory in the apprentice duel sent a wave of excitement through the Mages Guild. Elara, once the struggling apprentice, was now hailed as a prodigy, a testament to the power of determination and the unexpected magic woven into the English language. Her confidence soared, her spells flowed with effortless grace, and her understanding of English deepened with every incantation. But more importantly, her linguistic journey had sparked a newfound curiosity, a thirst for knowledge that extended beyond the practical applications of spellcasting. One day, while exploring the dusty stacks of Master Eldrick's vast library, Elara stumbled upon a hidden alcove. There, tucked away behind a tapestry depicting a swirling vortex of words, she discovered a collection of ancient, leather-bound volumes, their pages filled with a language she instantly recognized: English. These were not spellbooks or grammar guides, but chronicles of forgotten lore, philosophical treatises on the nature of magic, and even whimsical tales of fantastical creatures and faraway lands, all written in eloquent, poetic English. Elara, her fingers tracing the faded ink on the brittle pages, felt a surge of excitement. These ancient texts, long overlooked by wizards who favored spellbooks written in their native tongue, held a wealth of knowledge, a legacy of wisdom passed down through generations of English-speaking wizards. She devoured the texts, her mind expanding with each new discovery. She learned of ancient rituals, forgotten incantations, and magical theories that had been lost to time. She discovered that English, beyond its practical applications in spellcasting, was a language of poetry, of storytelling, of a depth and beauty that resonated with the very essence of magic. Her understanding of English transformed. It was no longer just a tool for casting spells. It was a key to unlocking the secrets of the past, a bridge to connect with the wisdom of generations long gone, and a means of expressing the profound wonder and mystery of the magical world. Elara shared her discoveries with Master Eldrick, who was equally astounded by the trove of ancient English texts. Together, they spent countless hours translating the text, deciphering their hidden meanings, and incorporating their knowledge into their magical practice. Elara's spells became more nuanced, more powerful, more infused with the ancient wisdom embedded within the English language. She could now conjure illusions so real they seemed to breathe, manipulate the elements with a whisper, and even heal the sick with a touch, her incantations flowing with a grace and power that astonished even the most seasoned wizards. The news of Elara's discoveries and her mastery of English spread throughout the realm. Young wizards, inspired by her story, began to study the language, seeking to unlock the secrets of the ancient texts and to expand their understanding of magic. Elara, once the struggling apprentice, became a respected mentor, guiding others on their linguistic and magical journeys, encouraging them to embrace the power of English not just as a tool for spellcasting, but as a key to unlocking the deeper mysteries of the magical world. As she stood in the tower library, surrounded by students eager to learn, Elara realized that her journey was far from over. The English language, with its endless depths and hidden wonders, would continue to be her guide, her source of inspiration, and her enduring connection to the magic that flowed through her veins and through the very fabric of existence. The English wizard's apprentice, no longer a novice but a master in her own right, embraced the legacy of words, knowing that her journey had just begun, a lifelong exploration of the boundless possibilities that lay at the intersection of language and magic. The world of words, once a daunting obstacle, had become a source of wonder, power, and endless enchantment.